Hey guys, so this look was inspired by Pride Month. It was a lot of fun to make. If you want to see how I got this look, please continue watching. Alright, so we're going to start off with outlining how we want the tearing of the skin. I'm using a black eyeliner. You could pretty much use any liner you want. I just picked up my MAC Pro Longwear one because I didn't want it to smear. I tend to go over a lot of the work I already do and smear it, so I wanted to make sure it stayed in place. Keep in mind, this doesn't have to be perfect. We are going to go back and outline it later. It just has to be a rough draft, basically. Using an angle brush, we're going to draw out each color of the pride flag. We're going to make sure that we put ripples in between these lines, but they're coinciding with each other, so it seems like the flag is moving underneath the skin. I went ahead and I just looked up a picture of a moving flag for reference. I just want to make sure that it was as accurate as I can make it without it looking too much. Make sure when you're doing this that the pattern of the ripples follow throughout the entire look. So if there's a ripple and the skin doesn't kind of go down that far for the actual cut, don't bother putting a little ripple right there. Just make sure it's very fluid besides that. I'm going to start filling in each color with the same angle brush. I'm using the Makeup Forever Flash palette. It's extremely pigmented and super creamy. I absolutely love it, but you have to be careful. So I use the angle brush just to make sure to set down a thin layer of the color without globbing on too much and changing the texture and possibly ruining the outcome of the look if I happen to mess it up. When you're filling in these colors, make sure to be mindful of the tears and the cracks that you've already put in place. You don't want to fill in color where there shouldn't be color. So I did take my time with this. Even though I cut a lot of it out, I took an extremely long time just to make sure I wasn't filling in color where it was unnecessary. And because I said it was so pigmented and so creamy, I just went over it with a nice translucent powder and I just patted it on top, not trying to move the product around, just setting it. And then I went ahead and I dusted around the areas just to make sure there was no extra white left over from the translucent powder. Finally, we're going back in and we're going to just trace around the entire cut. I'm using Black Chalk liner. It's a gel-based liner. It pretty much doesn't move once it's dried, so it's perfect for this, and I'm using an angle brush as well. And then we're going to contour with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour in Fair just to make the skin look like it was stretching out. I just kind of did lines around any of the crevices on the outside that were kind of jagged edges. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to highlight between the contour and the actual black liner so it looks like the skin is slightly raised. Then picking up a gray shadow, I'm going to add a little bit of dimension to the flag to make the ripples look a little bit more prominent. And I'm going to start with the edges and then just drag that color inside a little bit. Moving to the eyes, I'm just going to grab Saddle and I'm going to just deepen up the creases just a little bit. And then I'm going to grab the color Bottle Green and I'm going to focus that in the outer V. And I'm just going to slowly build that color with the same fluffy brush that I was using from before. It's a really nice mute green. I think it was very perfect for this look, just to add a little bit of color without it being too much. And then I'm going to take Painterly and I'm just going to place that on the eyelid and kind of cut out how I want the eyelid to be shaped a little bit more so there's more definition and drama between the crease and the eyelid. Taking that same fluffy brush, I'm going to grab more of that bottle green color and I'm going to drag it in so that the V turns into a slight C. You could kind of see the C now. Once that's placed, we're going to grab our pigment. I am using the Plead Guilty shadow and I'm just using my finger and I'm going to place that right on the lid everywhere I put the Painterly, just so there's a lot of drama being drawn to the eyes. For the liner, I'm just going to take Black Chalk and I'm just going to line the eyes slightly. I don't need a big thick liner, it's already pretty dramatic. I just want something to follow the lashes. The film is going to cut out and I went ahead and put the lashes and just a thin coat of foundation on, and then I went ahead and I just got started with the highlighting and contouring process. I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills Medium, and I'm just going to highlight the center of her face. I'm going to really focus on the center of the face and making it a little bit longer since she does have a round face. It came in handy for this completely. And then to help elongate your face a little bit more, I'm drawing the contour downward more than I probably would have, just to make her face seem a little bit more oval. When I want to blend out her highlight, I just went ahead with a dense brush to kind of keep it more so in place. I didn't want it moving around a lot. I liked exactly where it was placed. I want to keep this focus on the center of the face for sure. With her contour, I did use a dual fiber brush to have a little bit more control on where I blended it. I liked where it was placed, but it definitely needed blending. There's no lying about that. And I just blended it out a little bit into and up into her highlight area, so it looks very fluid and it doesn't seem where there's a starting or stopping position. And for her nose, I went with a tapered blending brush to blend that out. This was 217 brush. It came in handy for this for sure. I'm just setting an entire face with a light loose powder. I am not going to bake today, it's just unnecessary. We're going to focus her highlight on the high points of her cheeks. I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills new Sun Dip palette. I believe it's Tourmaline and Moonstone I mixed. And then for her cheeks, I'm going to use Lovejoy by MAC for her blush. Her eyebrows I'm filling in with Dip Brow by MAC. It is, I believe, deep dark brunette. I'm just going to underline underneath and then slowly fluff it into her brow. She already has a very full brow. I just want to give it a little bit more arch and definition. For her lips, I'm going to fill her entire lip in with the color Plum by MAC. And then I'm going to go ahead and take King K by Kylie Cosmetics, and I'm going to fill in the rest of her lip. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. It was tons of fun to create, and I'm super excited on how it came out. If you'd like to see more, go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment, and then you guys could also start following me on Instagram. It's Dani with 2 eyes.makeup. Bye guys!